good morning and welcome back to the Florida Boat Guy. I am excited. I have got a beautiful weather window today, taking the Grady White all the way from North Pinellas to Egmont Key. So this is the first time I've been out there in quite some time. First time I've had a chance to get away from work for a day, and also had the perfect weather window. So gonna hit it from the Gulf side this time. This island has quite the diverse history, a lot of ups and downs, and I've been doing some reading about it, and the Seminole Indians actually call it the Alcatraz for the Seminoles. That's where a lot of the Indian or the indigenous tribes were kept during the Seminole Wars. Then we also have the history during World War I, also the Civil War, and then obviously World War II. There was not a whole lot going on there, and then eventually turned over to the Park Service. So again, excited to explore, enjoy a beautiful day. It's supposed to be in the low to mid 80s, and just calm as can be out in the Gulf of Mexico. So gonna go have a nice ride down there, about 35 to 40 miles to get there, and we'll take some shots along the way. Okay, this video is going to be more about exploring Egmont Key than actually getting there, but a couple quick comments. The crab pots are absolutely ridiculous this time of year. I can't really use the autopilot too much. I'm just having to zigzag constantly to avoid them. They're all in parallel lines, you know, depending on what boat puts them out there, but then you've got captains that are crisscrossing those lines. So we've got lines of crab pots going all over the place. So trying to keep an eye on that. That's the one thing that always scares me about being in a single engine boat out in the Gulf, is hitting a crab pot and getting a line tangled up. But otherwise, it doesn't get any better than this. Beautiful day, calm as can be. Gulf of Mexico looks like a lake today. So gonna get it back going. Tell me 30 miles to go. Should be there a little before lunchtime, and a nice smooth ride. Check in once we get there. Okay, so I've got the ruins of these old forts in front of me right off the bow, and I'm gonna take a quick look here. Maybe show you. And I'm gonna take a quick stop here. Saw them on the drone, and then I'm gonna head over to the beach where the ruins of the old power station are, and then we'll head inland from there. So I'm not gonna get in the water today. A little chilly for me, but I'm gonna take a quick look here. So pretty cool, coming up, getting close here. Looks like a real popular dive site. This is a Thursday, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boats out here. So 8 boats. Last time I had the place to myself, so a little bit more going on today. So this is pretty cool. I'm still about 8 feet of water. I gotta watch it here. But it's amazing to think that this island used to come out this much further. And based on my research, one point this island was almost 700 acres. It is now less than half that size from erosion. So these forts are now underwater. So this is what's left of them. And we've got quite a few people out here diving, so we're going to stay away for the most part. But I just want to get up close, kind of see what's left. And I think the bird's eye view from the drone is probably the best shot to see. From the waterline, just looks like hunks of concrete sticking up out of nowhere. So that's pretty cool. Alright, welcome to the Battery Birchstead. This was 2 6-inch British Armstrong guns on pedestal mounts that were mounted here from 1899 to 1919. This was originally part of Egmont Key, which has now been eroded away,
due to storm and beach erosion. So the battery is now floating out to sea, and what you see here are the remains of the old armory and fort on the far southern end of the island.
So I cannot believe the boat traffic out here. Like I said, the last time I was out here, and that may have something to do with the weather, there was nobody. There was one other boat on this entire island. I did see the ferry coming in on the drone, so that means we're gonna have quite a few people on the island, and then there are boats everywhere. So we're gonna try and find a secluded area on this beach to pull up and power pole it, and maybe get our beach anchor out just to be safe, and then do a little hiking on the interior of the island. So this water is so clear you can see absolutely everything. I just saw a massive shark, at least 6 feet long, swim right under the boat. So that was wild. Won't be swimming around here anytime soon. You can see there's quite a few boats out here today, like was mentioned. So I'm trying to find an area on the beach where it won't disturb anybody who's just hanging out, and back in. And what we're looking at here off to the right is the ruins of the old power plant for the island. Again, this island used to be much larger, and came out probably about where we're at now, and so that power plant has been eroded away and not much left but the concrete foundation. So we're going to take a look at that and get on the beach here.
Okay, first things first, my apologies. I lost the SD memory card for the drone, and I found an old one lying around the house, but apparently it was not up to the task of recording 4K video on the drone, so that is why we are getting this choppy video. So I apologize for the shots, but hopefully you get the idea regardless. Okay, so choppy video aside, welcome back to Egmont Key. We're seeing Fort Dade here on the left-hand side of the video, and then now the lighthouse. So wanted to get you some overhead shots, again, just to see how beautiful this island is. We've got the ferry coming in right there on that shot, and I'll be coming ashore on the Gulf side of the island here shortly, and a little bit of bird action today. But beautiful place, and hope this bird's eye view gives you an idea of what we're coming into.
Okay, here we are anchored off the beach at Egmont Key. Learned a few things doing this a time or two. Always put the beach anchor out along with the power pole, front anchor off the bow, and boat should be just fine left unattended. I was ready to go. I had my swim trunks, didn't know, I've never been to this beach, didn't know what the drop-off was, how shallow it was. We also have an outgoing tide, so I want to leave myself plenty of room, not too close to the beach, and I did have to get a little bit wet, but had the swimsuit, have my swim shoes on, and this time I remembered to bring a bottle of water in a backpack. Last time I didn't bring anything to drink, so learned that lesson. It's 75 degrees, so it's not too hot, but still will be nice to have some water. So going to get on this island and take a look around. And what a beautiful beach. Okay, first stop for today is the old power plant, and looks like maybe it burned at some point. So all that's left, and you can see the rebarb just rusted to almost nothing, and they used shell as aggregate for the cement, so that's pretty cool. I guess that's what was available, and have to do some digging. I'm pretty sure this went out of service in the late 20s, but I'll check on the sign up here. Okay, yep, so that was the power plant that we just saw there. It was built in 1919, damaged in a storm. 21, general repairs in 1922, finally demolished in 1999. So that's what we're looking at right there. And this is why poor Sonny didn't get to go. National Wildlife Sanctuary, Florida State Park, no dogs. Sorry, Sonny. And I'm going to do this similar to the last time, where I really don't have a map. I'm just going to take the first trail I see and see where it leads. Obviously it's a state park, somewhat marked, not really. But
I'm at the other end of the island, so I'm going to work my way north to where I've been before, and just see if we run into anything interesting along the way. Follow the red brick road. So last time I was here, I may have misspoke. There were actually as many as 700 people that lived here at one point at its height. There was a school, a YMCA, a gym, a store, post office, everything you can imagine for a small town. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. It's just ruins, just an abandoned city. And the National Park Service, there were some fires to some of the old buildings I read, and they demolished most of what was left over the years. So mainly what we're going to see is just old foundational walls. There's a few restored structures. Going to check those out. I can see that the no-see-ums are out, already getting eaten alive. Should have brought the bug spray. Left that on the boat. But anyone comes here, bring your bug spray. But anyway, off this original brick road, we've got some foundation walls, and you see some of the concrete. And this was a large building of some sort. And it may have been one that we already checked out last time. Oh, the pump house, ice plant and cold storage, built in 1908, destroyed in 1925. Ice plant and cold storage. Cool. So anyone that's watched this channel or knows me knows I'm fascinated by history, but not only that, abandoned history. This is wild. These are beautiful brick roads. There's two that run parallel. I guess this was kind of the main street, and I am seeing structure after structure after structure that was here. So this was a full-fledged city with everything that you needed on this island. Now, obviously the big problem with it is susceptibility to storms. And the largest storm, I believe, is around 1840s. Before the first lighthouse was built, this island was inundated with 15 feet of water. The lighthouse keeper survived by getting in his tender rowboat, covering with a tarp and tying it to the top of a palm tree with his family. After that storm, he left, never came back, found a new job on land. So as important as a strategic military location as this island is, not the best place to build a city. That's why we're looking at these ruins today. The hurricanes don't come often, but when they do, the whole place is underwater. So I don't see a sign on this one. You can see this whole place burned at some point. You can see the palm trees completely charred. And I'll see if I can find a sign on this one. But this was a large structure of some sort. So I mentioned earlier, been doing some reading on the history of this place. Just fascinating. Several hundreds of years of history, going back to the Spanish conquistadors. Visited and charted this island. Used in all the American major wars, the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, the Civil War, and the Seminole War. And was doing some reading about the Seminole War, and this was used as an internment for captured indigenous peoples before being shipped ultimately to Oklahoma and removed forcibly from their lands. And so the Seminole tribe has been part of the preservation society for this place, and they just the memories of those horrors that happened on this island, a lot of it we just look at as a military installation, not really part of an active war, but for the Seminole Indian tribe, there is a solemn history to this place, that it was used as a prison. So that being said, let's see what we got next here. Corral, and I wonder if that's what we were looking at a second ago. Built in 1900, wood frame concrete foundation. No, so this is different because that other one had concrete walls. Capacity 16 animals and had feed storage. So before the train was in, they used mules and donkeys to pull the carts to and from the water for supplies, and I'm assuming that is why they needed a place to keep those animals, a place to take care of them. So we've got the red brick road here, and then these large foundational or road, I don't know, that's concrete. You're just looking at ruins, it's hard to say. We're gonna keep going. We're going north right now, and see what else we can find. Wagon shed, 30 feet by 90 feet. That explains why we're seeing such a large foundation. Completed in 1909. In the 1930s, used by the Coast Guard as a garage. Removed in 1949. So we can see kind of a main convergence of the roads. This one heads towards the beach on that side. That one heads to the beach on that side. We've got a large foundation here, and then the parallel road on this side. So this was the fire station. Had its own fire department. Wood frame, concrete construction, slate roof. Hose drying tower. This was taken in 1910. So as mentioned before in some of the other videos, I was visiting with Chase with the Tampa Bay Pilots Association, and they lease their space, which is just down at the end of this road, for operating the Tampa Bay Pilots boats. And I'm noticing the overhead power lines, and one of the things he told me is there's actually an underground power feed to this island. So the power obviously is generated onshore, and they have the technology now to just bury those lines. So there is full power to this island for the Coast Guard, the Pilots Association, and the Park Service. And again, this is just giving me some scale to the size of the community that was here. These are some main roads, and they are flanked by sidewalks. Meaning there were enough people here that they needed a sidewalk and a main road. So that is fascinating. And you see all these foundations, one after the other. Houses, stores. Okay, we're here. Last time I explored most of this area, I wanted to go south a little bit. I don't know what's down here or if it's worth the walk. Maybe do a mile or so down this direction, and then I'll go back to the lighthouse, quick stop there, and then probably head back to the boat after that. That should be a good several mile walk. So it sounds like they're cutting down some trees today, but encountered some people on the beach obviously, but nobody over here. It's kind of cool. So almost at the end of the trail, at the southern end here, and then we get to the lease held by the Pilots Association, which is off limits. But I'm looking around, and I originally thought this was maybe damage from a fire, but I didn't notice it last time I was here. And then I got to thinking this is probably salt water from the last couple of storms we've had with this island. It has had storm surge. Nothing crazy, I think 2 feet, 3 feet, but the ocean did flow across here, and you can see what it's done to all the vegetation. Everything's brown and dead where the water flowed. You can see how the dirt on this sidewalk was washed up, and we've got all this sand here. So I'm really thinking that this is saltwater intrusion that killed all of this vegetation here. Okay, down at the southern end of this island, and there's nothing here, just vegetation and mosquitoes. Yep, getting eaten alive. Don't recommend going any further this way. Thought I would explore a little bit, but gonna head back north. The bugs weren't nearly as bad heading back that direction, so I'm gonna walk that way. Okay, so a little bit of noise today. The Park Service has a crew in there with about 5 chainsaws, and they're cleaning up brush over on the bay side. But took a quick walk over there just to see what the view of the bridge looked like. So now I'm heading back north, and that's going to be kind of back towards the area we were at last time. Guardhouse, lighthouse, then circle back, maybe stop at Fort Dade and then go find our boat. So this building made the last video. It's one of the few remaining upkept buildings on Egmont Key, and this is the old guardhouse. So they've done a good job preserving this. I'm gonna find the sign is up here, and I think, like I said, we took a look at it last time, and see what information we can find on it. Okay, yep, here, built about the same time, 1911. Detention area, lower rear area with an adjoining area for toilets and showers. Guard room, office, sergeant's room, boiler room, closet, porch across the front of the building. Amazing to see that photo without vegetation around it. You see here, it's just out in the middle of a plain, it looks like. So, pretty interesting. So this is actually a good picture. I don't know if you can see with the reflection, but it shows how much larger the island was. Now it's, you know, a narrow strip, but you see this whole area here is now eroded away, and you can see some of these roads before the vegetation took over. So that's kind of neat to look at. But it is saying that a lot of these palm trees are dying from the saltwater intrusion. So anytime we have storms, we've got salt spray. That's what some of this is about. So I'm going to continue on and hopefully hit the lighthouse here in a few minutes. All right, and then this we pointed out last time, the railroad ties went all the way out to this pier, and that's when where supply ships would come, and they would use those railroad ties to get supplies back in here. So see just a little bit what remains. So going back to the bay side, gonna take a quick shot here. See that beautiful Skyway Bridge in the distance. So all in all, it's a pretty inhospitable place. No fresh water, tons of vegetation, mosquitoes, gnats, no-see-ums. This reminds me of the Dry Tortugas in that regard. So while the views are absolutely stunning, the views of both the bay and the Gulf are beautiful. I really can't imagine living on this island 100 years ago and dealing with the heat, humidity, and the bugs. So I'm sure they got used to it. Lots of mosquito nets, that kind of thing. But yikes, the bugs are bad. So bring your bug spray if you do plan on visiting. But views like that make it worth it. Okay, so this is cool. This is the original optic display, double-headed rotating beacon installed in 1944. Top of the lighthouse has been removed like we saw last time, but there is a beacon up there. Still operated by the Coast Guard. The rest of the island, with the exception of the Pilots Association, is administered by the Florida State Park Service. Okay, as mentioned before, this lighthouse was built in 1858. The original lighthouse, I believe, was built in, doesn't say. I believe the original lighthouse was built in 1848, 10 years prior, and the storm came through and washed out the foundation, and it was actually leaning, and that was the lighthouse keeper I told you about that rode out the storm in a boat. This one was built afterwards, and they said it could withstand any storm. She's still standing, still looking good, so I think they were right about that. Looks like the ferry's getting ready to load up, so getting quiet here. There are some folks walking around. They're all heading back to the beach, so that's kind of nice. Get the rest of my walk to myself. Stopping over here looks like an old cemetery. I want to see what's going on. Alright, these graves are all from the Civil War.
That's amazing. 1864 to 1865. On this side we've got some graves from the Spanish-American War. Lighthouse Tinder, U.S. Marine Hospital, 1887. And then we've got the Seminole graves here we were talking about. Chief, some children, died in 1857, 1852. Lighthouse Keeper family also buried here. Coal tender says he drowned in 1891. So we've got some old graves here. It's just a lot of history. Alright, we're on our last leg here. I've got about a quarter-mile left to the beach, but this is cool, showing you the non-commissioned officers row. And you can see all the houses that were here. View looking west of Center Street before April 1925. So that's what we've got now. So indeed, there were sidewalks, brick road down the middle, and houses all along. Okay, last little bit of walk. I've done about 3.5 miles of walking on this island today, and you get the idea. It's basically walking through an abandoned town in a tropical setting, and it's just wild to me. All of these buildings, 100 to 120 years old, and obviously not much is left but the foundations and the roads. But you can see the history, you can feel the history. A lot happened here. A lot of people have come and gone. But it is a great place for you know, a quiet hike, quiet walk. Very beautiful views on both ends, beautiful beaches, and second trip here, still enjoyed it very much. And almost to the Gulf side, and hopefully, as always, we'll find the boat where we left her. Good. Right where we left her. Last comment before I leave the island. Look at the size of this beach. Just beautiful. Okay, another great trip to Egmont Key. I'm entering the Tampa Bay Ship Channel right now, so I've got to pay attention. But that was a beautiful day. The water is as calm as it gets out here, so no complaints whatsoever. And I hope everyone enjoyed another tour of the island and all the shots from today. So until next time, Boat Guy is signing out.